De algoritmo, la destinación capturada para el algoritmo es una ponencia que se centrará en cómo los algoritmos y la influencia digital están alterando el turismo, donde una sola publicación puede cambiar la percepción y la afluencia de visitantes a una zona. El poder de la influencia digital, la delgada línea que hay entre la inspiración y la manipulación y el impacto de la masificación provocada por estas publicaciones de influencers y demás personalidades. Moderarà este debate la doctora Aradhana Khowala. Ella és assessora internacional en estratègia, lideratge i posicionament de destinacions i marques turístiques. De fet, ha assessorat governs i destinacions a més de 85 països i és una veu molt autoritzada en el desenvolupament turístic regeneratiu, benestar i lideratge estratègic. Doncs donem la benvinguda a la doctora Aradhana Khowala.
What if I were to tell you that one of the most influential, powerful people in the world of tourism currently is a young boy laughing and shouting at the camera as he drives fast cars? He films himself in Japan, and tourism numbers in Japan spike. He moves to Portugal, bookings move. He turns up at a city which most people have never ever heard of, and even the hostels fill up. In fact, he has single-handedly done more for destination visitation demand with a single upload compared to what a lot of national tourism boards achieve in a decade. No campaign, no strategy, no destination brand. Just a camera, an internet connection, and an algorithm that has decided that millions of people should see it. Ladies and gentlemen, please meet Darren Watkins Jr. Most of you would know him as I Show Speed. He does not have a doctorate in tourism like me. He's never written a tourism strategy. In fact, he's never even attended a UN tourism conference. But what he does have is 52 million subscribers. People who will watch where he goes, eat what he eats, and think the destination he lands up at is the coolest place on earth because he's there. Now, to be clear, I'm not suggesting that we should replace tourism ministers with YouTubers. That is not the point. The point is he's not even special because there are thousands like him. This is Hyojin, a Korean-American influencer who landed up in Tirana, Albania. Not France, not Spain, Albania. Her audience followed, and for the first time in history, Tirana hotels were overbooked. We have so many people like this. Everyone knows Mr. Beast, Nas Daily, Jacinta Obango, different styles, different audience, different geography, but the same algorithmic order. What used to be a $2 billion economy 10 years ago, a measly $2 billion, is today valued at $250 billion and growing every single day. But it's not all good news. There's a dark side. There's always a dark side. People would historically choose based on trust, reputation, and merit. Today, the algorithm chooses for you. And the algorithm doesn't care about you, your nature, your community, science, or even truth. It cares about watch time and engagement. And the repercussions of this shows up everywhere. Let's take food as an example. Today, people follow influencers' diet instead of listening to national nutrition guidelines. 50% of us eat what we have seen on social media, and 1 in 5 choose a restaurant based on what we have seen online. And this shows up, even Wall Street Journal covered the recipe of a faked better cheese pasta because one viral video meant that there was a global shortage for feta for 3 months. And it happened again last year when pistachio became the breakout flavor for 2025 because guess what? Dubai chocolate bar got 100 million views in 1 week. And there are the sad, tragic consequences of this with platforms like Skinny Talk, which is held responsible for extreme anorexia in young girls. This is not entertainment anymore. In tourism, we're not just moving people. Destinations and countries can rise or collapse on the basis of a false narrative. And we have so many examples in the past, right? Egypt, South Africa, the volcanoes in Indonesia, the war that's going on in Middle East as we speak. Facts stay local, but perception, which travels fast, becomes reality. Enough theory. Let me take you through real examples from all over the world, which actually still prove that we've not managed to learn our lesson. This is in Morocco, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Looks splendid when you look at the drone footage. And obviously, as a result of that, footfall increased by 400%. But guess what? Culture and nature had to pay the price. A small beach called the Maya Bay in Thailand, only 250 meters long. Leonardo DiCaprio filmed a movie. Everyone wants to go to the same place. Digital mentions grow by 110%. 80% of the coral reefs in that beach were destroyed. And the beach had to remain closed for 4 years for 15% recovery. Everyone knows Hallstatt. It became famous or infamous after the Disney movie Frozen. A tiny village, 780 residents. They now get 10,000 visitors every single day, and the locals are sad because their lives have become a Disney movie set. The Temple Gate in Bali, guess what? An average tourist has to queue for 3, 5, sometimes 8 hours for a 2-second, 5-second selfie. And the lake does not exist. It is your guide who holds a mirror under the phone to get a picture of the reflection, for a fee, of course. California, same story, different places. They had one amazing year of poppy bloom. A small village, Ellison Moore, 100,000 people descended on the village over one weekend. People came, and then they trampled on the flowers they came to see. Authorities declared a state of emergency. #poppy shutdown. Komodo dragons, which is one of the things that you go to Indonesia to see. It is so tragic that people now poke the dragons to get the perfect selfie. No surprises, bite incidents with tourists have gone up. But guess what? Komodo dragons can be many things, but friendly content collaborators is not one of them. And because we're in Andorra, I want to share some examples of mountain destinations that have piles of data of devastation showing that we are making mistakes time and again. And what better mountain to start with than the Mount Everest? Historically, if you had to trek up the Mount Everest, you had to be an elite athlete. You had to train for months, and you probably had to have the emotional stability of a monk. Now, you need a GoPro, you need a sponsorship deal, and you need to say, please like and subscribe before I die. Quite literally, because this is 8,000 meters above the sea level, and you imagine you're queuing up, and there's a traffic jam because the guy in front of you is adjusting his selfie stick. The Rainbow Mountain in Peru, it used to be a geological marvel. Now, so many people have trampled on it that the soil is entirely gone because it takes centuries to form. This is my absolute favorite. There was a viral video of a heart-shaped mountain, 2 million shares everywhere in Switzerland, AI-generated, 100% fake. Local authorities still have to put people on standby to help the hikers who have wandered off looking for something which doesn't exist. Another Italian ski destination, Roccaraso. One Instagram blast and followed by a TikTok video made it viral. The next weekend, 260 buses piled up in the same town. Most of them had never skied before. They just wanted to go viral near the snow. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a genuine problem because on the one hand, you can do with a single upload or a video what would historically take you millions of dollars. Small businesses can connect overnight to global demand. But currently, the platforms are set up in a way that they make the revenue. The influencers get the brand deal, the platforms make the advertising revenue, and you, as the leaders of the destination, are left to clean up the trash, repair the trails, and most importantly, tell your locals why they can no longer afford to live in their neighborhood. This is the part where I stop pretending I have all the answers, but that's a good thing because we have two experts who have all the answers. I'm going to call them up on stage, and unlike AI, if you ask them a question, they actually give you an answer instead of showing you the video of a dancing goat. Please welcome up on stage Bernat Casañas, who's the founder and CEO of Becama Consulting. Bernat is what happens when a strategic next-generation AI brain grows up in the Andorran mountains. He tells me he knows Andorra's secrets, shortcuts, pressure points, and if there is a smart digital way to turn a place into a big story, Bernat's on there. He's sharp, curious, straight talker, and he doesn't just advise businesses, he helps them win by rewiring. Next, we have Andreas Skogseth, who is the CEO of Visit Hardangerfjord. It is not her danger, it is not hard anger, it is Hardangerfjord. Andreas runs one of the most beautiful places on earth. He is in the business of saying, come and see the fjords, but don't ruin them. So he's equal parts host, custodian, bouncer in a club, and his priority is making sure nature stays the main character no matter what. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, these chairs are low. Andreas, can I start with you, perhaps?
Yes, please.
So everyone is talking about how AI is going to reshape demand, discovery, and also decision-making. It's not theoretical anymore. It's happening now as we speak in the next 12 to 18 months. And destinations are realizing that they need to reinvent themselves, and that means restructuring the data, the narrative, the platforms. You've just come from South by Southwest, which for those of you who don't know, is the place where Future shows up, takes notes, and judges the rest of us, because it's next generation tech. Tell us honestly, how many destinations were there who are really reinventing themselves for technology, algorithm, and AI, and how many are still putting pretty pictures on Instagram and hoping that it's going to do the job?
Yeah, thank you for the question. And yeah, South by Southwest was a real experience this year, a big moment, definitely. I think I couldn't really find any other destinations there, but there are a lot of participants to South by Southwest. So, I'm not sure if there's so many actually engaging in how they should restructure their organization right now in terms of AI and the AI shift that's coming. So, but definitely for me, the moment in South by Southwest was really defining. I mean, it's the shift now from sort of generative AI to agentic AI and fully autonomous AI. That was probably the biggest talking points in South by Southwest this year.
Any top 2 key takeaways? What really shocked you?
For one, for us as a destination, we saw already last year that, for instance, traffic to our sites was dropping significantly, and also how we could address this in terms of using language models and AI search, curated search. This was a big takeaway, how to address this in a better way as an organization. And also, basically, I think the bottom line there was, if you're using the manual screwdriver, stop it. Start using the electric screwdriver.
That's a good way of putting it. Bernat, I'm going to come to you. If tourism discovery is now run by algorithms, does that mean your country's revenue, reputation, and investment pipeline is being decided by a handful of tech companies and their recommendation engines? And it's a bit like having an invisible hand in tourism, only this is not invisible and it's definitely not neutral, right? How do you fight back as a destination?
És molt bona pregunta. Jo aprofitaré a parlar en català. Dono temps a posar-se també al tema del traductor. És un tema molt interessant perquè fins al dia d'avui, bàsicament el govern o poques persones podien controlar qui veia la informació a nivell de la televisió o mitjans de comunicació en general eren controlats per poques persones. Ara mateix, una persona, i ho hem anat comentant el dia d'avui, molta gent, poden controlar i exposar-se o exposar un missatge amb una velocitat i una comoditat extrema mai abans vista. Què vol dir això? Que ara mateix un noi de 15 anys des del sofà de casa seva pot penjar un vídeo que pot augmentar, per exemple, el turisme a Andorra o literalment perjudicar-lo de forma molt greu. Posem un cas, no? El tema de Dubai. Han sortit, i ha sortit el Connor abans explicant-ho, vídeos falsos de drons amb missils impactant sobre estructures de Dubai. Imagina't ara mateix que aquí a Andorra una persona o vàries que són virals, pengen i difonen vídeos d'una allau a les pistes d'esquí matant a gent. Què passa la setmana que ve? Quanta gent entra a Andorra? I la setmana següent? En quant de temps som capaços d'analitzar si això és real o és fals, comunicar-ho a les xarxes socials i als medis perquè aquest missatge ja no s'expandeixi més i, en tercer lloc, anul·lar el seu efecte de forma immediata. Si no tenim un bon pla de contingències, que aquí està la resposta, amb un bon pla de contingències i un anàlisi en temps real del que està passant en boca d'Andorra, el que pot passar és que de cop Andorra, que és un país a sobre que el turisme és literalment gairebé el 50% més o menys de l'economia directa o indirectament, el que pot passar és que es pugui caure l'economia de forma temporal per no tenir un bon control i pensar que realment això és impossible que passi. Què passa? Que ja està passant. A tot arreu està passant això. Als Estats Units estem veient a Donald Trump dient missatges generats amb intel·ligència artificial que són barbaritats. A Espanya igual, amb presidents. A Andorra encara no ha passat, cert, perquè és un país petit, però passarà i ens hem de preparar.
Let me follow up. I think I've got most of what you said. My question, let's stick to that. So in most of tourism, we have, let's say, airports, ports, airspace, infrastructure, right? All of it is regulated. People pay fees, they get licenses, and it's regulated. If I am a tourist guide, I give the wrong information, I lose my license. If I'm a financial advisor, I give wrong information, I end up in jail. Or if you are a hotel that has not done its job, you get fined. But visibility on a platform is not regulated. What is the solution? Do you regulate it like the rest of the industry?
Accountability. Al final, des del meu punt de vista, el que hem de fer és tenir una eina simplement d'analítica en temps real de què està passant. No per regular i prohibir, sinó per simplement veure també inclús el sentiment. La IA avui en dia té l'oportunitat de poder analitzar moltes dades en temps real i extreure conclusions de forma molt ràpida i en profunditat. Ostres, anem a instal·lar una eina a xarxes socials que analitzi tot el que s'està difonent sobre Andorra i veure també, per després, de cara al turisme, augmentar el turisme i millorar-lo. I a partir d'allà també missatges d'odi, o no d'odi com a tal, perquè jo defenso la llibertat d'expressió, per mi és molt important, sinó que són falsos, que tenen un missatge atacant cap a Andorra amb una base que no és la verdadera, allà és penalitzar de forma molt ràpida i a partir d'allà, accountability, el dir qui ho ha fet això, buscar-lo i que això no torni a passar. És molt perillós.
I'm going to push back on this because if someone currently stages culture, misrepresents the community, promotes harmful behaviors, and turn real people into props for content, currently what happens is they get more views. How do you hold someone accountable? Do you take away the license? Isn't that authoritarian?
És cert que pot sonar autoritari, no? De dir, aquest missatge no m'agrada, fora. La qüestió és què posem al mig. Per mi és sempre la frase que defineix també la meva coherència com a persona, com a valor fundamental meu de la meva persona. I és, fiquem al mig el fet de benefici o perjudici per Andorra o veritat o mentida. Si canviem la pregunta, canviem també el plantejament dels valors i de l'analítica de si és correcte o no el que estem fent. Llavors, un missatge que sigui d'odi, vale. No l'hem de treure de les xarxes per aquest motiu o no hem de penalitzar per aquest motiu, sinó això és mentida. I també la conseqüència és molt elevada. Però no per govern, sinó per petit negoci que té un petit restaurant que de cop aquell cap de setmana no hi haurà ningú. I com paga els treballadors? Què passa si el dia 31 no poden cobrar tota la nòmina? Aquí comença l'efecte cadena i és molt perillós.
Excellent. Thank you. Andreas, I'm going to bring you in on this because this is so important, right? Censorship, right? What is the right way of doing things? And I want to pick up on what Bernat said, which is values, the European values, the ability to roam freely, is that right?
Yeah, freedom to roam in Norway, at least. Yeah.
Exactly correct. Now, I want to give the example of the Lofoten Islands in Norway, which is your home country. There was a fantastic video which went viral of Lofoten. It looked absolutely spectacular, and it went under the tag Scenic Public Park. It was a cemetery. And guess what? People started crowding there, and suddenly they also were pitching tents in the cemetery, and some people were also cooking in the graveyard. I mean, this is how we kind of get careless with a viral post. A fragile place gets overwhelmed. Even the poor dead don't get peace. When virality causes harm like this, what do governments do? Do they step in? Do you agree with what Bernat was saying? Should we allow takedowns? Should we allow regulation? Should we allow geo-blocking? Should we allow, Yeah. Is it down marking? Down marking algorithmically?
Yeah, I think it's a difficult question for sure. For Lofoten, of course, they had a very sharp increase in visitors in a very short time. And I think the regulations and laws that were in place before the visitor came were not adjusted to handle the problems that came with sort of, let's say, Instagram spots and sharp increase over a short time. I guess Lofoten learned a lot from this now. They're sort of increasing this year a visitor tax. So they will be able to take care of the problems, have systems in place locally. They implemented a new common strategy for the whole region and in terms of how to deal with this. But also they need to change their strategy in terms of how to deal with the algorithms, basically. The influencers have an active strategy in terms of working together with the algorithm, not against it, and steering traffic. Also, initially talking about the AI shift and what's coming, I think you see now a lot more people using AI to get basically their itineraries, the travel plans. And this is a great opportunity for governments and for destination companies to actively work together with these platforms and curate the message that's been put forward to the visitors beforehand. So it's you need a complete strategy before the visitor comes, during, and also after you collect customer data actively in various parts of the destination and process this to have a better plan, basically.
Let me stick with you and ask about Oslo. Was it Visit Oslo, the campaign, where there is, if you've not seen it, it's one of my absolute favorites. Is Oslo even a city? I think that's what it's called. There's a very dreary, boring chap who, in the entire video, says, Oslo is really boring, please don't come here. You know, there's nothing to see. It's reverse psychology at play. It went viral, and obviously there was a big peaking of visitors to Norway. Specific to Hardangerfjord, you are selling one of the most beautiful places on earth. So how do you market something which is already so perfect? And without accidentally ruining it, that's the first part. Because in a sense, the better you do your job, the worse is the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a paradox. I think we all face this within the travel industry also. We are sometimes our worst enemy. It comes down to having a strategy to get perhaps a better guest or more a guest that sort of serves the purpose of the destination to spread the traffic. We have the same problems in Hardanger as many other destinations. It's really seasonal, so we work actively together with say, content creators, influencers, campaigning, how we put forward our message to spread the traffic. Yeah, and also to have a sort of a common strategy throughout the region within the different municipalities that we work together, basically, and also closely monitor the traffic to see how we can steer it another way. And I think we're getting better at it, but it's definitely also we see after the pandemic how much the markets have changed. We were quite fortunate to be, I would say, a diversified. We have diversified our marketing, so we have a lot of markets out there, both in Europe and Asia and America, and that's also sort of has been our strength. But also we need to work smarter in terms of how we get the right customer in the future.
Fantastic. Bernat, let me bring you in at this point. When a destination goes viral, it achieves virality, but the basic infrastructure in the destination, like housing, water, safety, waste clearance, all of these things are sometimes still catching up, right? So is virality, and that works till everyone says it's good, but the narrative flips when the locals start complaining, and then there is a ban, and then there is, no tourist boards or whatever else. So is virality really growth? You help businesses go viral. This is your job. How do you ensure, the destination is able to manage? It's a bit like a boom and a bust. So how is the destination able to manage the boom before it goes to bust?
És molt bona pregunta i és el que passa sempre, no? Tant al govern que, o sigui, com més gran sigui una empresa o institució, més tarda la informació d'arribar a un lloc a l'altre. Llavors, el problema i la causa sempre la confonem. El problema no és que turisme faci una bona feina i vinguin més turistes aquí a Andorra. El problema és que la informació de què està passant en temps real no es traspassa als departaments correctes perquè es puguin prendre decisions de forma ràpida. I aquí la IA i automatitzacions fan una molt bona ajuda. De dir, escolta, imagina't que amb aquesta arribada de nous turistes o qualsevol entrada o canvi que sigui de forma ràpida, important, que hi hagi una espècie d'analítica i informe perquè el personal adequat pugui prendre una bona decisió en temps rècord i després executar-la. Llavors, en la presa de decisió, que és a l'hora d'analitzar totes les mètriques i veure què està passant perquè l'humà, no la IA, l'humà decideixi què ha de passar i després la seva execució, aquestes dues branques on és un simple traspàs d'informació és el que ha d'estar digitalitzat i automatitzat de forma molt ràpida. Llavors, el problema no és la viralitat, el problema real és que al ser una empresa o institució en aquest cas, que és molt gran, la informació no va de forma ràpida. Llavors, el que hem d'aconseguir és que la informació pugui anar ràpida perquè la presa de decisió i l'execució pugui estar en temps rècord. D'aquesta manera podem arreglar aquests conflictes, que jo diria conflictes més que problemes, perquè d'aquesta manera tothom estigui content, tant els turistes com les empreses, com també els habitants, que és superimportant que estiguin còmodes, perquè és el seu país també.
Fantastic. Andreas, if I may squeeze in one more question, and then we have just about 5 minutes left to finish. So if visitors are coming to you from algorithms that you don't control, and your bookings come from platforms you don't own, is it still your country? Is it still, is this like a new form of digital colonialism? Are we surrendering our sovereignty because there is some tech company sitting somewhere that is controlling everything?
Yeah, it's a good question, definitely. I think we will also see this in a broader field within travel trade and other fields also. Me and Bernat discussed this before the speech, the cost of intelligence and who controls intelligence in the future, the cost of tokens today to be able to use all these tools and platforms. And also the OTAs. So it's a good question. Of course, we see in my region, in Hardanger, the OTAs bring a lot of guests, and they do it in a very seamless way. So it's hard to eliminate it in a way. But we are getting more and more tools to work more directly with the customer in the future. I think this is quite interesting, but it comes down to regulation and how we want to solve this, basically. Yeah.
Bernat, last question to you before. We mentioned how viral growth is not equal, right? There are those destinations which get more and more popular on repeat, and then there are those which are left invisible while they're the ones who can actually take a lot more demand. So what do you do as a destination? Do you design for it, or do you just let it slide and take it as a given that it's going to go through a cycle and that some destinations will get popular and you have to wait your turn?
Clar, al final, jo treballo amb empreses. Una empresa, el més important és poder analitzar i estipular quin serà el seu cash flow, no? El seu flux de caixa. Si tu no pots saber quants turistes t'entraran el mes que ve o l'any que ve, ostres, aquí hi ha un problema. Això sí que és un problema, no? Llavors una empresa s'esforça per saber quan ingressarà el mes que ve, doncs un país s'ha de preocupar per quants turistes entraran el mes que ve. No ha de ser alguna de, vinga, va, a veure quants venen el mes que ve, sinó ha de ser alguna amb mètriques, analitzar i saber què ha passat, per què, per poder millorar. Com a tota empresa, realment. Des del meu punt de vista, és la qüestió.
Excellent. Now I'm going to put both of you on the spot because we have literally 2 minutes left. Bernat, your job is to drive spend and growth. Andreas, your job is to protect and manage the inflows. So I'm going to hit you with some really quick questions. It's going to be a bit of a rapid fire round. And I need really short answers. 1 word, max 2, 3 words. No long sentences, please, okay? And you have to be really quick. Ready, gents?
Yeah.
Okay. More visitors or better visitors? Pick one. Please don't say both because that's not possible.
Better.
Better.
You can't agree. Where's the fight? Okay, who should have the final say? The team driving arrivals or the team dealing with the consequences?
Probably the consequences.
Yeah, consequences also.
You're agreeing to everything. Okay, let's see. If locals start leaving because tourism is too successful, are you still doing your job well?
No.
Yes.
Okay, at least the diversity of thought. If the market rewards volume, but sustainability requires restraint, do you cap it or do you cash in?
Reorganize your strategy.
Okay.
Cap it.
Cap it. Who cleans up after the growth?
Shared responsibility.
Shared responsibility.
Sure. Yeah.
Shared. Final question. What's the one metric you would kill tomorrow?
Acquisition. Cost of acquisition.
Or cost of acquisition of a client?
Acquisition of clients, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Impressions on a website and campaign as a measurement.
So the likable impressions is what you mean?
Yeah, or amount of hits on a page, which is sort of a phased out way of measuring.
Fantastic. Gentlemen, thank you very, very much. Audience, thank you. You've been wonderful, and we're on time with 18 seconds to spare. That's how you time it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.